And we are live for Swimming with the Pontoon, number 37. I didn't put the number. So let me know if everything is going right, that the audio's live, and that we're not stuttering. We should be pretty good on the streaming. It shouldn't stutter. I did just recently upgrade the internet here. So I went from I think it was 200 or 300 megabytes to it's supposed to be 1 gig. So we should have good, smooth streaming as long as my little Wi-Fi extender works well. So we'll see. Yeah, here we are. It's another Sunday. It's another Swimming with the Pontoon. You may notice that I am up and about. I'm healing up from last week. I know last week it was a little bit uncomfortable sitting here for the full hour, but this week things are better. I am healing up. I'm feeling better, running around. I really didn't take much time off this week. I took it a little easier than normal, but hello, Christina. Good to see you here. Good to see you here. I did take a little bit of time off, as in I wasn't running about as much as I normally do. I did not go to the gym. Last night was my first time back to the gym, and I just was on the treadmill for about an hour and a half. I'm going to take my time getting back into things. I was told to be careful. So no real lifting or anything like that. I'll work my way back into it. So that's the plan anyways, and I'm going to try to follow the doctor's orders for the most part. Had my first little checkup afterwards. They had a little tube they had to remove. They said the stitches look good. So far, from what I can tell, the stitches look pretty good. No real pain. So we are healing up. How is everybody's weekend so far? Yes, everything went good, Stephen. I'm healing up. things are relatively good. No real issues. Feeling pretty good overall. I took really one real day off, and that was the day of surgery. I took that off. I didn't do anything. The next day I was back on my feet, kind of running around to an extent. So yes, everything is good. Healing up. I'm still not 100%, but overall, I gotta say, not too bad. Not too bad. It's been a good thing. So this week has remained pretty busy. I'm still a bit behind. I would like to say that I'm not, and I did work through this week to try to, keep ahead, but I'm still a bit behind. Which honestly, I guess I can't complain too much. I'd rather be behind than ahead and not have anything to do. So as you can see, I am wearing Peacemaker shirt from Nordic Nevadan. And because I was behind, I didn't get a chance to add the shirts to the website like I had planned. I really did plan to get more done than I did, but I got triggers out. That's what counts. I got a lot of the triggers out that I planned on it. I had hoped to get a couple more Leonidas systems done than I did. But I'm still within the 4 to 6 week window. I'm within the 4-week window. So if you have a Leonidas on the books, they're really not behind. I'm a little behind on some of the others. I'm trying to maintain everything and keep things rocking and rolling like they should be. We've got Glocktober coming to an end. Here we are. Almost the end of October. Seems like just the other day October started. We're about through. We're on the 22nd. The 22nd of October. That means Halloween is coming up. Does anybody have any interesting plans for Halloween? Are we going to be dressing up? I don't foresee doing much for Halloween on my end. Nor I would prefer to do something for Halloween, but with I've got some different things going on So I don't know how much. Maybe not that this fat kid needs any, but some candy would be nice. But I really don't need any, especially after not being able to do, some time at the gym. Uh, like I said, the first time back to the gym was last night. Spent an hour and a half on the treadmill. I'll end up doing the same tonight. I went and yes, yes, ma'am, yes, Christina, your witchy self. Um, I've done some walking and that sort of thing. Uh, Try not to eat too much, because that's what I'd end up doing if I took time off and tried healing up like the doctors told me. I would end up eating like a fat kid, more so than normal. So I try to keep busy with the triggers. And then also, I've been working on the project car. I ended up um, ordering some different turbo stuff for that. Uh, Too much turbo stuff. I've got kind of a mess in the shop when it comes to that. There's different manifolds, and I actually a different turbo setup. I've been on what little time off. I've been kind of playing with that. Uh, I had planned on doing a video for the car channel, and I really need to. I really need to update that because between the different things that I've got going on with that, and then I've got some different testing stuff I want to show off with different turbo stuff. Been kind of getting into that lately. Trigger wise, this week I did manage to do a video on the install of our +5 mag extensions. I knocked that video out. Um, I think that video came out pretty well. I will say that I may have made it look a little bit harder than it actually is, but I did want to make sure that before you go ahead and do one of these, just take a few minutes, practice so you don't lose a spring. It can happen. I did lose a spring. Um, Ended up ordering some extra springs so that should that happen, I'll get you taken care of. But these mag extensions are really nice. I'm looking at going through the entire shop of all of the not test frames, but the builds that I've done, and upgrading to these new mag extensions, which means I will be sending some of these off to various shops that I've had Cerakote done to match the Cerakote that they've done on other builds. So I will slowly be doing that because I really like these mag extensions, which means on probably on Instagram, or maybe I'll put a use section on the website. I'll probably have some old +5 mag extensions that I'll let go for relatively inexpensive as throughout the weeks as I change these out. So that's the plan for those. But if you did or if you didn't, check that video out. And if you're looking for a +5 mag extension, I suggest upgrading to one of these guys. Price is good. Maybe I'll do some specials on those closer to Black Friday. I know here recently I did a +5. You could order a Heisenberg or a Leonidas, and you got a +5 mag extension as part of the deal. So I've been trying to keep these in stock and just run some specials on them as time goes on. Trigger wise, what else? On the website, I do have these guys, and it's going to be kind of hard to tell the color here. Let's see. We'll zoom in. This is the Bazooka Green, or ODG triggers. I've got those in the Heisenberg competition. There's 4 of these left. I had 5 done. There's 4 left right now, as what's available. It's got the different color safety options available. Those are on the website. There's no price premium on them. They are the same price as the normal competition Heisenberg. So that's kind of a good deal. 4 of those guys left. There's four left. I really want to keep one for myself, but I'm going to hold off and let you guys have the possibility of grabbing one. What else has been going on? What was the other? Oh, okay. One thing I would, if you guys have ordered something in the past and you've not left a review on the website, just under under the product that you ordered, you'll go down. There's a tab for reviews. Yes, the purple trigger on the PB&J. Need to get you a Glock, Christina. Need to get you set up with a Glock. Under review tab, just leave a quick review, just whatever it is, if you get a chance, and I will send out a sticker pack. If you leave a review on the website, I will, and please, if you leave a review, it asks for your name and just maybe put the last letter or the first letter of your last name, something so that I can track it, and I can look up your address and shoot you guys a sticker pack. Okay. Yes, that PB&J Glock that Tommy Alvarez of Tommy Gun Stippling did, it just blew up. It went all over the place. That's a neat one. I know he's got several others that he's building because of that one. Instead of the Boogeyman trigger, it'll have one of the TWP peanut butter and jelly triggers. So that one's pretty neat. That one came out really good. What else has been going on? It's actually, while it's been a busy week, it's kind of been a quiet week when it comes to goings on. I do know that coming up this coming week, I will be on the Instagram live of United R&D or United Firing Arms. United Firing Arms. They want to have me on to go over the differences of drop-ins, like your standard double stack 9mm drop-ins, compared to the slimline Peacemaker Extremes. What's the difference and why they're a bit more expensive? And really, what that comes down to are two different things. One, the parts for the slimlines are more expensive. They're not as easy to get a hold of as they used to be, back in 2019, 2018. So that drives part of the cost. And then the other part of it is with your double stack 9mm, those drop-ins are a little bit less intricate versus the Peacemaker Extreme when it comes to the actual modifications that I have to do in order to get it up to my specifications. Each Peacemaker Extreme is hand modified by myself. The trigger bar itself gets several different modifications that I have to do each and every one by hand. It takes more time. Each one gets tested before it is finished up and sent out. That is one of the reasons why it is more expensive, but it also has what I consider, what reality is, a better, not a better, it has the best action of any G43 slimline system out there. The most of your, pretty much any of your drop-in or aftermarket slimline triggers are just at the best. They've done a high polish job. They've maybe polished the working surfaces really nicely, and then they've thrown an aftermarket minus connector on there. And that's fine and dandy, but that doesn't live up to my specifications for the extreme carry. Now, I have a variation of that in my Peacemaker Daily. Okay, that is a basic drop-in. It's still not cheap as my double stack stuff, just because of the parts, but it has it doesn't have the full range of modifications that the extreme carry does. So I do have a cheaper one, but it's not super cheap, and it's still better than what the rest of the world offers. The I've not found an aftermarket connector for the slim lines that really meet up to what I consider a good connector or a good modification for the slim lines. There's just not. Oh yeah. Yeah, Steven. The G43 has what I consider, when it's done right, has one of the better trigger systems out there. I really I beat my head against the wall when I first started playing with the G43s, and especially when the because I didn't have a lot of requests for triggers until the G43X and G48 launched. When those launched, I noticed a massive difference. Before that, and really when I came on board, it was more P80 double stack 9mm stuff. So when the 43X and the 48 hit, that's when I really started seeing requests for triggers. And that's when I really started looking at what can I do. And I beat my head against the wall trying to figure out what can I do with these to make them worthy. Um, yeah, the OEM minus connector, which is pretty much the only connector that they drop in those nowadays, is what I find to be worthwhile. I've played with the Ghost Edge. It's just they're all pretty much the same. There's a little difference between the Lone Wolf, the Terran Tactical. There are a couple other ones that I've seen. Just like I think, I'm trying to think if I played with a Double Diamond Glock store, Lenny McGill. I don't know that I've played with that one for the G43. Most of the time, they've all basically been about the same angle when it comes to the geometry. They're all basically about the same. With the G43, I've not found connector geometry to be something that needs to be tuned or played with. That's not really where the issue is. What I find the issue to be is with the trigger bar itself, that curve, that that rear, how it interfaces with the connector. I modify that quite a bit. And each one I modify by hand and by eye. I've got I've got a way that I do that. And I find that is where you get the most benefit, because as it is, with the way that fits in there and the geometry of it, you might lower the break weight a little bit with an aftermarket connector, but you're still going to be looking at a major a lot of distance for the reset. Even having an over travel stop in the housing for a G43, I've not found that to be very beneficial. I do it on my high-end Heisenberg competition for the G43, but that's the last little bit of tuning that it needs, because there's really not a lot of over travel I've found in that system that needs tuned out. If you want the smallest amount with that Heisenberg, you can get that over travel stop, but I don't find that to be the answer per se. With my modifications, you're looking at it's anywhere from about 60 to 70% less quicker reset without an over travel stop. Once you add that over travel stop in there, you're looking, I just throw an arbitrary 80% reduction overall in your reset distance. So my goal is to kind of condense that into a relatively quick live stream on Instagram for United Firearms. So speaking of them, we did a collaboration build back in, I think it was July or so. We're looking at doing another collaboration build. We're going to get together on a build for, they are one of the groups behind on Facebook. If you've seen the Glock Builders group, They're one of the companies behind that group, and that's one of the fastest growing and most active Glock Facebook groups. A lot of them, unfortunately, have over the years gotten pretty quiet. They're pretty stagnant. Even large ones of 12,000, 9,000. You're seeing a couple posts a day, whereas Glock builders, and this isn't, I guess this is a little bit of a an advertisement for it. If you want a Facebook group for Glocks, that's the one to go to. Glock builders. Um, I'm not a moderator there or anything like that. I am, I guess, an approved vendor, if you will, for that group. So I'm allowed to, post tactical pontoon stuff in there without a lot of hate. But anyways, that group is growing, and their goal, once they hit, I think, 20,000 subscribers or group members, they want to do a full build. That's their goal. So it will have a tactical pontoon, most likely a Heisenberg trigger. I think it will be a Gen 5. United Firearms will be doing the slide. I think they're still they're still working on who they're solidifying who's going to do the framework. So it will be a collaboration build and a giveaway, which is really cool. I don't, when I say giveaway, I'm not sure. We are supposed to be talking about all of the different details and whatnot. So I'm just kind of spilling the beans, maybe just a little early. Oh, Steven, you're in that group. Cool. Okay. Compared to, like I said, a lot of the others are relatively dead in comparison. I mean, when I look at the time I've been on Facebook in the Glock groups, a lot of the old ones either have disappeared or are relatively stagnant. There used to be Glock Elite. I got kicked out of that one a few years back because I was taking business away from their approved trigger vendor. So they ended up kicking me out. I found that little nugget of information out from one of their moderators who clued me in as to why I got kicked out. But that is what it is. I don't even know if Glock Elite's still around. I think at one time they had gotten shut down and they had their backup group and whatnot. I don't know. I think there's probably more going on like Reddit and that sort of thing, but there's so many different social media platforms. I just haven't felt like joining Reddit. So their trigger vendor that has a bunch of fakes. I don't know. I don't want to say they've got. I don't want to get in trouble. Okay. I don't want to say that anybody's fake 5-star review after my latest experience with the cease and desist. I'm gonna stay away from that one. And I think me and their trigger vendor have a fairly decent relationship still. So I don't know. So yeah. I try to make sure that my reviews are accurate. That's why I'm trying to. Now, let me put it this way. Just because I will send you stickers for a review doesn't mean it has to be a good review. I need it to be an honest review, and I will still send you stickers. So that I do want honest reviews and I do want honest feedback. And if you do have if anybody ever has an issue, feel free to hit me up. And feel free to, if you need to post it online for some reason instead of hitting me up first, that's perfectly fine too. I prefer the at least shot me an email first, so maybe we can get things figured out beforehand, because it's normally something relatively simple. But whatever. Let's see. Oh wait, I thought we were talking. I thought they were talking about your competition. Yeah. I don't really have competition per se. least in my mind. I feel like the reality is there's enough Glocks out there and enough builds out there. There's room for us all. My goal, my ultimate goal is to build the best that I possibly can in all of the different places that I build, whether it's my board basic drop-ins or even trigger parts, whether it's just a trigger shoe or whatever it might be. I plan on bringing the best that I can at that price level, at that performance level, whether it's the top of the line Leonidas, the Heisenberg systems, the drop ins. I want to make sure that they are as good as they can be and I want to bring them in at a price that is um, competitive or value for what you get. That's always my goal. Competition, it is what it is. Okay. I don't truly consider myself competition for them or them competition for me. There's room for us all. I got kicked out of a group for talking about a negative experience with him. I've heard that. Um, I've heard about that. I've seen it happen. Um, that's kind of the background between the tactical pontoon troll sticker, being one of my really good customers who has been customers with other trigger builders. Uh, he was called a troll, and so we kind of went with it. Can you talk about your CR920 trigger? Yes, I was actually talking about my Glock 43 slimline triggers a minute ago. It pretty much carries over to the CR920. With the CR920, I'll talk a little bit more. With the CR920 and the CR920, when they built it, they did kind of a hybrid trigger, meaning it's slimline size, but that trigger bar is a hybrid of the Glock Generation 3, Generation 4 with the trigger spring hook versus the captured trigger spring that like a Generation 5 Glock has and a Glock 43. So, unfortunately, with the CR920, the way they put it all together, their trigger bar, that trigger spring, that hybrid trigger spring, all of that created a very heavy trigger pull. It does have an extremely long reset. I couldn't believe when I had a CR920 in here how bad that trigger was right out of the box. It's actually one of the worst triggers, if not the worst. Honestly, it's probably the worst Glock based trigger that I've ever played with. So what I did was I went ahead and I verified that my slimline stuff for the Glock 43, Glock 43X, 48 fits in the CR920 and works. That's why you'll see on the website my 43 or my Peacemaker Extreme Carry fits the CR920 and the 43. Excuse me. They're all tested. They all get modifications for the specific frame that they go into. And basically with my Extreme Carry, like I was talking about for the Glock 43, not only does it get the Glock 43 trigger bar and trigger block system with the captured spring, it gets the modifications that I do to that trigger bar, which are extensive because that system by itself normally has an extremely long reset. Normally they have pretty crisp breaks, but they have an extremely long reset. So my goal is to keep the crisp break, drop the weight a bit, especially on the CR920, which had like a 6.5 to 7 pound break. Keep that crisp break, but reduce that reset by, like I said, 70%. So my Peacemaker Extreme changes that CR920 into something that is what it should have been from right out of the box. because that's a nice frame. They come with really nice slides. They normally have the bronze barrel. They've got the extended or the higher capacity magazines, nice sights. They've got it's a nice setup, but that trigger out of the box is just, it's not great. So Peacemaker Extreme Carry, that's what fits the CR920, and it changes. I mean, I've sold a lot of them. I've built a lot of those triggers. People do love them, and I've had multiple emails of people that said they hated their CR920 until they changed to a Peacemaker Extreme. So it's a game changer. Oh, good, it's in your cart. I'll get it built up. Okay, it should. Let me see. I should be able to make it happen this week. So one thing, because I said the G43 stuff is a little bit harder to get, and it is more expensive to get a hold of. I keep less of them here than I do like your double stack Glock 17 stuff, but should be good there. So get it in the cart, get it checked out, and I should be able to make it happen this week. Yeah. So as I said, I will be on United Firearms Instagram Live this Wednesday. It should be this Wednesday. Normally that takes place at like 5 or 6 p.m., depending on which part of the country you're in. 5 or 6 p.m. So if you're on Instagram, check out United Firearms LLC. I believe it's United_Firearms_LLC. I believe that's their current one. They used to be United Research and Development, but they shortened it up, make it easier. And so people kind of could figure out what industry they're in. Good company. They do some great slide work. Their slide cuts are really, really nice and intricate. So, like I said, I'll be on there and the Glock Builders group. So, yeah. Oh, what else? What else is going on? I did the video on the Generation 5 10 millimeter 45 caliber, how those parts really, and I've been searching. As soon as those parts are more available, I will get away from the sending in your parts to do the work on. But until then, it's going to have to be a 1-for-1 where I do the work on your parts for those Generation 5 10 millimeters. But the nice thing is they did upgrade the system. It is a nicer system. As those parts become more available, I will look at doing a full Leonidas system for them. But until then, I'm not going to go hog wild on modifying those parts and basically messing things up, because it does happen. Parts get messed up, and I don't want somebody's gun to be out of commission because we're out of parts. So there is that. With Bob, before you order, if you're not on the Tactical Pontoon newsletter, there was a code for 10% off, and I don't want you to miss that, or I don't want to mention it and then you've missed it, because then I could do a partial refund once everything's cycled through. So I do want to tell, and the code is Glocktober, I believe. I do believe it's Glocktober. If not, you can check the Facebook page. It'll be live on there what that code is. I don't remember offhand, and my phone's not right here to. Maybe I can. Let's see if I can go verify while we're live streaming. I'll put a new tab up. Let's see. Glocktober for the rest of the month, 10% off anything that is not on sale. If it's on sale, the Glocktober code will not work, but anything that is not on sale, 10% off for the rest of Glocktober. Do want to mention that. Let's see. Let me make sure that is the correct code. Let's see if it'll load up here. I'm sure the streaming's taking quite a bit of bandwidth. We'll let that load up in the background. It's supposed to be faster internet. Go figure. Go figure. Let's see. Did it load up? Here we go. And coupons. Coupon codes. Oh man. Oh. Just a second. I apologize. God, I recycled. I believe I recycled the Glocktober code. So, which means for several years now, which means it's not right up top like I thought it was. Glocktober. Yes, that is the one. Just GLOCKTOBER is the code. So if you're gonna place an order and for the rest of the month, that is an awesome 10% off. So now is the time to order. Once November hits, it's gonna drop away. We will do some Black Friday stuff, but in order to make sure that I can feed all of my dogs in November until Black Friday hits, there's really not going to be much in the way of codes, but for the rest of Glocktober, 10% off anything that is not on sale. So take advantage of it now, because until Black Friday, and I'm not really sure what I can do Black Friday wise, I'm trying to come up with something deal wise, something extra, but I 10% off is a pretty hefty deal. But go ahead, use it. That's what it's there for. Obviously, I am okay. I'm okay. I paid for my surgery. That was an expensive proposition. I'm glad I was able to do so. I am very thankful to be able to do what I do for everybody and maintain a lifestyle. Be able to, go buy a pizza if I want a pizza. I'm not, I have been in different situations in my life where I lived on ramen. I did struggle through and actually have to. There were times when I've washed windows. I have literally had a bucket that I got for free at Walmart and a squeegee that I might have lifted from a gas station. I did give it back after I was able to afford my own squeegee. And washed windows. I literally went to strip malls with my bucket in hand. Sweet. All right, Bob. Awesome. Make sure you got that 10%. I will make sure after this I get it wrote down on my build list. I've got the website, and then what I do is I put it on a build list. It's just the way I've always done it. I got my build list and I follow that when I'm building, and then I check it with the website before it goes and gets shipped out. So, yeah, I've been there. I have been there, and I'm thankful not to be there, where I've had, like I said, gone to strip malls with my bucket and my squeegee in hand with some dish soap and water, and I've washed windows. Even a short guy like me, I've washed some window panes and made money to make sure that I could keep on going. So Squeegee Ninjas. I still have an email, squeegeeninjas@yahoo.com. That's still one of my old emails. I was going to do Windows, on and off. I did Windows, and I thought about there for a while going into business doing it. Really wasn't bad. I enjoyed a good. I enjoy a good clean window. I had my marketing for that sort of thing. I had some business cards for a while. So, I do prefer building triggers over washing windows. So, but whatever you got to do, you got to do. And I've been there. Fortunately, like I said, I'm very thankful to be doing triggers and working with you guys, building Glocks, seeing the different builds that you guys have done. Um, there's some really creative stuff out there, and it's cool to be a part of it. Like the PB&J build that Tommy Gun Stippling did, that thing is pretty cool. I got to admit that FD in purple just came out. It came out really good. So very thankful for what I'm able to do. Um, let's see what else has been going on. What do we got going on here? Anything new? We got November coming up. Video wise, I have a couple different ideas. I haven't put anything in stone after the cease and desist. I kind of went through the different videos that I had planned, and I haven't been as excited to do videos. So I'm trying to get my brain back into making video mode, um, and concentrate on teaching. One of the things that I think gets forgotten about working on a Glock is this is a relatively simple mechanical device. It's not really rocket scientist when it comes to troubleshooting. You will find, or I find, that people will combine different new parts together, and because of varying tolerances and varying qualities and looser tolerances or tighter tolerances, you're going to run into certain combinations that really don't initially want to work together very well. I find that more with new slides than anything else. And whether it's a complete slide that you're putting on a new frame, or it's a slide that you've bought a parts kit for, you ordered a barrel, and when you put all of that together, sometimes they don't work really well together. Sometimes they just need broke in. One thing that I like to, or that I would like more people to do, is look at things. Once, if you have an issue, I see this more with a slide not going back in the battery after, excuse me, I'm going to have to sneeze here. Ooh, little something in the air. A slide not going back in the battery, whether it's you riding at home or after after assembly, and maybe after a shot, that slide doesn't go back in the battery. And I find that people don't take a look to see if there's tracks or traces or marks inside your slide. First thing to do, I find, is pull your slide off. Take a look at the underside of the slide, and especially if it's Cerakoted FDE or gray or it's polished or something like that, it's going to be easier to see than just a black slide. Look for marks, and I have a video on this, on your reset cam underneath there. That's where your connector rides. Sometimes a new slide, because of the Cerakote, that Cerakote might be a little thick, and so the actual tab on the connector can actually ride on that reset tab, so that when it goes to slide home into battery, that reset tab can actually have extra drag that keeps it from going back into battery. Another thing that you might find is look at where the trigger bar rides on the safety plunger. Okay. One troubleshooting trick, if you will, is if your slide is not going into battery after some sort of change, even a trigger change, take the slide off, carefully take your slide cover off, your slide plate cover, take that off, remove the rod, for the activator rod, for the extractor, remove the safety plunger, remove the extractor. Now reassemble the slide cover with the striker in there. So you've removed the safety plunger out of the system. Okay. Now see if that slide goes back into battery easy. If it does, what you're doing troubleshooting wise is you're removing parts to see what is causing the issue. And that is one that I find can cause issues, or it's one of the ones that can quickly be done to verify that it's not the vertical extension on that safety plunger causing your out of battery conditions. That's a quick one. Okay. Hey, what's up, Stuart? I was talking about your shirts back in the beginning and how I didn't add them to the website yet. Going to. Promise. That's a quick one to mechanically take that out of the equation. Now, if you're still running, if it's still not going in the battery, well, we've removed one of the possibilities. That means there's the connector could be an issue, like I talked originally, riding on that cam. What you can do for that one is you can, one, look to see if you're getting a trace on that reset cam in the slide. You can also disassemble things. You can try a different connector, or you can remove a little bit of the tension from that connector, reassemble, see if it goes back in the battery. Another one is the barrel hood, especially if it's a new assembly, where the barrel hood can ride inside of that slide. If it's a new slide with new Cerakote, sometimes that barrel hood at the rear of the slide at the breech face, sometimes they will just have a little bit of fitment that you can either go back and forth and do a little bit of just work the slide and the barrel, or you can actually get a little bit of metal polish or valve lapping compound, and you can just sit there and work the parts together so that it laps into place, because that's one place where you can have some resistance going back into battery. Some people will just immediately jump to the guide rod needs changed, or the recoil assembly, as somebody pointed out in one of my last videos. They got upset with me for calling it just a guide rod. They'll run immediately to changing the springs, but let's make sure it's not something else before we just run up there. Another thing is some barrels, they fit tighter in the locking lugs of the I'm going off the locking block. Sorry, brain was going different places. Those locking lugs in the anyways, look for mechanical thing. It's a relatively simple mechanical device, and it doesn't take a lot to look for signs of things that might be causing your issue. So that's one of the ones that I've actually had to do several here recently, where people hit me up and they're like, "Hey, I just put this new slide on. Why is it not going back in the battery?" And I try to explain all of this as we're going. It's a relatively simple mechanical device. There's only a couple different things that rub in there and move against one another and might be causing your issue. Having a Glock armorer's plate, which you can build yourself, or again, I have them on the website, a really nice one, comes in handy, because you can see that assembly together with that Glock armorer's plate on. Another thing is looking up the grip, because when you look up the grip, up the magwell, you can look and see the vertical extension. Sometimes you can see where it's actually rubbing on the slide itself. So again, it's a simple mechanical device, and sometimes people forget that it's not black magic inside of there. It's a simple mechanical device. Take a look. Take things out of the system. Another thing is you can literally take the striker out of the system just to verify that you don't have something else that's locking up in there. Oh, an interesting one. Not that anybody's, I'm sure somebody might try to do this, is I was testing a trigger out and I grabbed a PSA dagger slide and went to go put it on my Zev OZ9. And because the Zev OZ9 has thicker rails, it did not want to fit the PSA dagger slide. Just a little, not that anybody would normally try something like that, but more than likely your dagger slide is not going to fit very well on your OZ9 just because of how thick those rails are, which is one of the reasons why that OZ9 is a little bit higher precision, because it takes up some of that space that a normal Glock would have. Anyways, whew. Different things. Okay. Does anybody have any Glock questions while we're live these last few minutes before I get out of here? I can already tell my voice is starting to get a little bit dry. Everybody had a good weekend. I know that's we're about over. It'll be Monday before we know it. Start another week. Had a good week. Went to a car show yesterday. There was a little local car show. My girlfriend was sick, so she didn't get to go with me. I brought my camera. I just wasn't in the mood for. It was a nice car show, but with her not being there and me I just wasn't fully in the mood. Still hobbling a little bit. I didn't really take any pictures. Normally I will take some time, take some really good pictures. It was a bigger turnout than I expected for the little swamp town that I live in. But with chemical plants around here, there's money. So there were some nice cars out there. I brought the little Dodge Neon out there. I didn't enter it in the show. I did park it out kind of in the back away from people because I don't actually have a key for the door of that car. And currently I've not hooked the key fob up to open the doors with the button. There's an electrical issue somewhere in there that I've not sought out and fixed. So I couldn't actually lock the car. So several times as I made my rounds, I went back to verify nobody had stolen the car. Not that they probably would. So, all right, in Utah, yeah, I saw on Facebook you were out and about, out in Utah. That's good. That's a good weekend. Cool, good deal. Well, guys, my voice is getting a little bit rough. I gotta say, I'm healing up really nicely. It wasn't as uncomfortable as last weekend when it came to sitting on this chair, but my voice is getting a little dry. I'm gonna call this for today. We'll do it again. And as always, if you need anything, if you have any questions, shoot me an email, TacticalPontoon@gmail.com. You can always find it on the website. Use one of the contact forms if you need to, and I will get back with you. If you have any questions, any tuning questions for your Glock or for your trigger, whether it's mine or somebody else's, feel free to hit me up. I'm always there to help, and I will do what I can. So until next time, I will catch you on the next one, and try to be good. I know I will try. No promises. So